What's up, guys? Welcome to Among the Fence. My name is Aaron, and if it's your first time seeing one of my videos, I'd like to welcome you to my channel where I do music reviews and we just chill and talk about all the things that we love or hate. And if you got anything you want me to check out, leave a comment below letting me know what it is, and it'll be featured on upcoming Request Wednesday. But for today's review, we're going to be checking out the new single Shatter by the band Bullet For My Valentine. For those of you who don't know, Bullet For My Valentine is a metalcore band from Wales. They started in 1998, so they've been around for quite a long time, and they've also received a lot of praise and rewards. And while I haven't really been like a huge fan of them recently, they have some freaking great albums and some crazy bangers. Every time Tears Don't Fall comes on the radio, I just have to scream it, and it's illegal if you don't. Shatter is the third single to be released off of their self-titled album, which is also their 7th studio album. The band says that Shatter is a sledgehammer of a track with riffs for days. Let's go! Lyrically, it seems like it's about finding like his place in this world, but also being so like beat up and at his breaking point that he's like ready to give up and admit defeat or shatter in a sense. The song comes in with some atmosphere and a very groovy riff that just keeps going and going, it seems like, at least until you get to the verse that's filled with more gentle drum work and a very gentle whispery kind of vocals. But there's just so much built up tension that halfway through the verse, that riff just kind of jumps out again before they shove it back in its cage for the rest of the verse. All that anger and pent-up aggression is finally released in the pre-chorus through a fairly clean transition that sounded pretty good. And the distorted vocals in the chorus and pre-chorus sound great. The chorus has a really good climax to it, but it's not as big and epic as the pre-chorus was leading on. And then it goes into the second verse, which is musically exactly the same as the first verse, just with different lyrics. But still, the lyrics are a little cheesy throughout this song, to say the least. The second chorus delivers the goods by being twice as long as the first chorus. The lyrics are a little mellow. They're a little melodramatic, though. Like, I don't exist, I was never alive, but I know I'm ready to die. I don't exist, I was never alive. It's gonna break me, but that doesn't matter. Another crack, watch me shatter. I mean, his lyrics, they're just very catastrophized in a way. They're very dramatic. Like, it's as bad as it could possibly. You throw another pebble at this dude and he's just gonna break and fall apart. And then the bridge comes in, which is basically just a bunch of whoa-ohs broken up by the lyrics from the verse kind of sprinkled in throughout. But it has a nice drum buildup that goes into a guitar solo, but then it gets really confusing from there because the drum buildup just continually goes through the guitar solo. Like, the drums don't stop doing their thing. So it's kind of like, whose solo is this? Is it a guitar solo? Is it a drum solo? Did the drummer not realize that we're building up into the guitar solo and he can start playing like something different? I don't know. Like I said, it was really confusing. It just didn't feel like it fit in the song. It felt very awkward, kind of wonky. And then after that, the song is finished off with a final chorus. So I definitely wouldn't call this track a sledgehammer. That's not the adjective, or I guess the noun, that I would use to describe this track. And I definitely wouldn't say it has riffs for days. In fact, it basically just has one riff that they play over and over and over again. And it isn't even really a good riff. It's basically just a rip-off riff from Parkway Drive. And honestly, it's basically what 90% of mainstream metalcore bands sound like. If you put on Architects, Parkway Drive, Fit for a King, you're going to hear this riff like 3 times throughout just one of their albums. So I definitely wouldn't say that this has riffs for days, and it's not a sledgehammer. I will say that this track is aggressive. It's got a lot of anger to it. It's very in your face. The riff is pretty groovy, even though it's just the most generic thing you've ever heard. Like, I feel like this song is probably like an 8-minute long song. It took them about 8 minutes to write all the music for it. Maybe like 4 extra minutes to write the lyrics if they're all working on it together. But if the vocalist or whoever did the lyrics is writing the lyrics at the same time, this is an 8-minute long song. It took them 8 minutes to come up with this riff because it's already in your head. It's what you hear every freaking day through like metalcore. It's like Sirius XM. You can hear songs like this all day long on the metal station. I guess you could give this band a little bit extra credit too if you consider like how good the production was, and also the drum work all the way up to the solo is pretty solid. But even then, it just doesn't really do a whole lot to change it. So with all that said, I gotta give Shatter by Bullet For My Valentine a 2.1 out of 5. I feel like the bands that have been around for a long time, like Bullet For My Valentine has been around for almost 24 years now, I feel like they didn't really have to develop their sound and they didn't have to really work for it because they just blew up so fast. They became so popular really quick. So they didn't really have to get creative with their music. They didn't really have to explore different sounds. They kind of fell into like the mainstream trap of just continually producing the same exact sound over and over and over again because that's what gets them a million listens on Spotify. But as soon as one of those listeners ventures into a band that only has like 100, 200,000 listens, that's when they're probably going to realize that Bullet For My Valentine just is, it's kind of boring. It's not really that exciting. They're not creative whatsoever. They're not changing the genre. They're not reinventing the metalcore wheel. I mean, they're not even trying to do any of that stuff. They're just sticking to what they know best and just trying to pump out music that people will listen to instead of pumping out music that expresses creativity and imagination. But I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to leave a link for Shatter in the description below. Go ahead and give it a listen and let me know what you thought and what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you love Bullet For My Valentine and now you hate me, feel free to give it a dislike. But at the same time, let me know why you enjoyed this song so much because I'm genuinely curious. I just don't see it. And while you're down there, let me know what I should review next. If you want to help support me and my channel, you don't want to miss out on any of my future content, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. Doing any of those things helps me out tremendously, and I appreciate it more than you guys could ever imagine. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
I was trying to make it relying on